Congress prepares another record-setting defense budget, and I know that later on, David Walker will be talking economics. The U.S. needs to consider whether the Marines' sustained its independence makes strategic or fiscal sense. And this article is claiming the simple truth is that the Marines became redundant long ago. And originally, the Marines were designed as naval infantry troops who could fight on land or sea, secure ship decks and conduct coastal raids. The
So,
advantage
so
with amphibious warfare, the ability to storm beaches and seize ports before the main forces arrived. And it definitely seems like they were saying they did a great job. But now they had their apex moment back in the
okay. So I can't speak to this at all. My
right.
brother was a Marine officer for 30 years.
Okay.
Um, and he went all over the place. He was in a couple wars. He did intel. He did PR. He did a lot of, but whether obviously you're going to need specialist war fighters
Right.
for specific situations, and it seems like the Marines. I mean, also you're going to need to pick out the best of the best for a number of situations, and there are a number of different uh, you know specialist, highly expert, the toughest of the tough, the smartest. You've got the Seabees for military engineering. You've got Navy SEALs. You got the Green Berets, and yeah, you have the Marine. Nobody's getting rid of the Marines. That would be fantastically unpopular.
Yeah, that would be very unpopular, and I don't think people would like that. And like you said, that'd be very unpopular. Folks would definitely throw a fit, particularly those that are past Marines. There's this idea because remember we've talked about it on this network several times of what the Republicans did with 2025. But even though they just recently lost a race and everything, there is a somewhat of a blue wave and everything like that, particularly after the victories in Virginia and New Jersey. And they got a stronger than expected showing last week in a Tennessee special election. But now people are saying that maybe the Democrats need their own version of Project 2025, which would be a Project 2027 for their first 100 days of a Democratic
Yeah,
majority.
yeah. Okay. Dr. Sharif wants to come in. He's knocking
Yeah,
on the door.
I'll not bring him in. But what's your thoughts about this idea
Well,
of
yeah. I mean, the Democrats have been accused of not presenting a clear and a clear message to Americans. And people say you can't just say the Republicans are bad. You have to offer an alternative. Now, I thought Kamala Harris did have some specifics, but those specifics were like 50 grand to help you with the down payment on your first home. Um, is that enough of a plan? No. And the specifics like that got drowned out in the rest of the crap that was flying in 2024. But yeah, the Democrats should have a plan, and they can't just avoid criticism by refusing to be specific. I mean, the Republicans have um, been doing that for since Trump announced for the presidency in 2015 that they have a health care plan that's better than Obamacare.
right?
They've never come out with one.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a concept of a plan, according to what some people have
yeah.
said, even in the debates and everything like that. Hey, Dr. Sharif, I got a question for you because I have these lovely nephews of mine that stay with my brother and with my brother's ex and everything like that. They spend time between the two parents that they have and everything along those lines. But that's not my question. My question is, um, earlier today, and I want to hear Rick's thought about this as well. And I remember this even when I was a school kid and everything. But earlier today, we had the threat of snow. It hasn't snowed yet. It may snow later on this afternoon. But our schools canceled, and they canceled even before the snow hit the ground and everything like that. So I was just wondering, how quick are y'all to pull the plug on school outings and everything like that? Because, like I said, right now it's a little gray, and it's probably gonna do some bad weather later on and everything like that. And I guess they're trying to be precautious and everything in that space. But it hasn't snowed, and there's no snow on the ground, so they're basically out of school
All
for a
right,
month.
well, let me talk of when we were growing up, life was cheap.
Right.
It took 3 feet of snow on the ground for them to cancel school. If a kid got lost in a snowbank on the way to, which they didn't, but like kids were, I had to walk, 3/4 of a mile to school through 2 feet of snow, because like that's what it was like back in the '60s and the '70s. My kid never once walked to school alone, even though school was only 4 blocks away, because we are more protective of our kids now, which I think is fine. Like cars used to kill the crap out of people. Like a car in the 1930s had a metal dashboard, had like didn't have safety glass, didn't have seat belts. If you stop short, if you crashed into something, you're punching through the windshield,
Mm.
you are dead. And since then, cars have gotten much safer, and now we are much more parenting wasn't even a verb until the 1980s. So now we're more cautious, and that's fine.
It's a
So
different way
when,
from Dr. Sharif. Jacoby,
yeah,
I was teasing and everything because Dr. Sharif.
yeah, this is actually very interesting discussion for me. If you want to understand the South Asian schools, right? Example, compared to USA, I visited many international schools, USA and Canada, California and Vancouver, and I say you have a big infrastructures and all of the technologies and everything. But if you want to steal, because here I come to Bangladesh and I go to all of the grassroots level peoples, uh, in terms of infrastructure, last few years Bangladesh improved a lot. I do not want to say it's like Singapore, it's like California, but it's improved a lot. But in terms of infrastructure, I want to say this digital infrastructure and everything. Still, yes, Bangladesh improved a lot, but there is a room that we can do that. But if you discuss about the mental health issues, about student activities and great skills, and all of the things, specifically leadership skills, I want to say uh, South Asian students, they are very compatible because they have to go for a lot of competitions. They have to go with a lot of challenge, especially economical challenge, social challenge, and by this way they grow their quality of leadership. So definitely, USA schools student can learn a lot of things. You have online activities, online things, but I think knowledge is not actually for school student. I think Jatovi, I think you have your son with you or something. Let's say your son, if he want to be a great leader for this global world, definitely he has to visit Bangladesh or India or Middle East. It's my concern, even Singapore, to learn the great leadership, diversified cultures, and interesting approach. So I want to say North America individual is a great place, but they are not only the place where students from the classroom they can grow. From the childhood, I want to welcome all of the peoples. You should join in South Asia and Asian market because here economy is growing and you can learn many beautiful culture and activities. So that is my thoughts about school education system. So we can organize summer camp, we can organize this kind of conference and dialogue. We can visit USA. US students should visit Bangladesh. That is the way of development.
Yeah, it makes sense to get to visit and do that world visit. Speaking of visiting, I want to hear from both you and Rick. But it looks like while we're worrying about our economy, the China trade surplus with the world topped $1 trillion despite the tariffs and everything like that. So, what is our thoughts about how China is doing in terms of world trade and everything like that? Because apparently they've topped $1 trillion for the first time. And there are now people that are saying that causing to question the effectiveness of developed countries and especially President Donald Trump's attempt
Yeah, okay, so
the flood of manufactured goods flowing out of China because the goods are still coming out of China.
China is an entrepreneurial dictatorship, which turns out to be a very successful system right now. And they have more than 150 cities in China, industrial cities with more than 1 million people. They have 8 cities with more than 10 million people. These cities are making stuff. And China can be patient with 1.4 billion people. They don't have to be, I mean, they want Taiwan, but they can be patient in achieving their objectives because they have, tremendous manpower. They have tremendous educational resources, and they have this government that wants people to succeed. Of course, if you criticize the government, there will be trouble for you. But yeah, and we, I think our government under Trump is basically losing time and
Mhm.
market share because we make bad decisions. We need to be gearing up to compete technologically with China, not compete with them, via trade wars and tariffs.
Yep. And it looks like Paramount has been, I know you're in the entertainment industry, has
I
made a
want to
hundred.
add something about
Yeah, go ahead.
China.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to add something about China. As a long time, I stayed in Malaysia. I teach Chinese student. Look, this is my very honest opinion. China has very strong economic system. China actually they grow their student. If you go with this Chinese student, they are very good at two things. Number one, mathematics compared to American students. Number two, they are very good at sales and marketing, even from their childhood, even from their classroom. They are very good at for these two things. Number one, mathematics. Number two, the sales and marketing. One thing, culturally, if you ask the Chinese students, why do you want to grow? Honestly speaking, they want to be American because China culture is very like close, right? If you see the Chinese university, they are fantastic. Undoubtedly, they have great university right now, but they have weakness because they do not want to do a lot of collaborations like North American university, right? So for that particular issues, still China is not a champion in AI industry. Why USA is champion? Because US do lot of collaborations. They are open society. So I do not want to overvalue Chinese people. Some point how I see these discussions and other things, from my personal experience, some point it's too much overvalued. Definitely, we have to respect Chinese culture. We have to respect American culture. We have to respect Indian culture. But we should not go for overvalued. Every country has limitation. China has, Bangladesh has, India has, America has. So we should develop us as a, if we want to be good entrepreneur, because I am master of entrepreneurs, I'm a mentor for entrepreneurs. If you want to be good entrepreneurs, you have to be global citizen, and then all of the entrepreneur can grow. Here is the Chinese challenge. Chinese people, honestly speaking, they have to learn more like a team player. I do not find them, they are a very good team player. They have to be very good like a North American, how they do for all of the collaborations. That's why I like American culture. So these are the things. Every culture is different, actually. Let's say American politics run by lawyers and policymakers. Always they discuss about policy. Chinese culture run by all of the engineers. They always focus on efficiency, improvements, business growth. That is the thing. So let's grow together. Do not go for overvalued or undervalued. Everybody can come in the same boat as a global player, and we can learn from each other. I can learn from Rick, I can learn from Mark, and we can grow together.
That makes a lot of sense. What's your take on that? Thing like that. So I know that have Sasha talking about what's going on with the Ukraine-Russia war, and that's still in the news as well, because apparently Zelensky is meeting with European leaders as Ukraine peace talks drag on. So are we ever going to see some peace in the near future in Ukraine, or is this going to be a continuous war and everything like that? So what is our thoughts on this?
I can't speak to that. I mean, obviously wars end, but I don't know if this is anywhere near ending.
Yeah, I don't know either, because it'll be interesting to see how that goes and everything like that. Dr. Sharif, looks like one of the world's largest airlines is canceling a lot of flights. Go is facing crisis. So what's going on with that area? Do you have any idea? Because it looks like they're saying that maybe the pilots are overworked, or they're overworked in the U.S. and we had issues with our air traffic controllers. But it says that shares tumbled after thousands of cancellations. So it looks like one of their major flights could be in trouble, that brings people here as well as around the world. So what if anything, are you hearing in your about this India airline problem?
Bangladesh Airlines, look, we are a highly density populated country compared to USA. Our capacity is very small. But if you want, they say, let's say airlines business is it's always good because we have many passenger, many people, those who live abroad, right? So this is a very good place. So still, I just want to say I do not see we have the challenge and problem like USA. We have more growth, we have more interesting things, and I just want to welcome you all because Bangladesh Investment Development Authority just published some news and some article. I find that by 2030s, this place will be largest consumer. So let's come and join in the business ecosystem, including your airlines, your educations, your manufacturing, your artificial intelligence, your media, and grow together. Rick, you are one of the popular men right now in Bangladesh. Many people know about you. Yesterday, I just shared one of the politician. He go for public like innovative. This is the he is the politician. He come to me, very famous. Uh, I want to say movie writer. His name is Zohir Rahan. So I just shared that we have our friend Rick Rosner. He's from Hollywood. So you have a lot of good friends.
Well, I should go over. I should go. My wife and I
even
should go.
even you are in politics, Bangladesh politics. Everybody know with Rick.
Everybody knows
Mark.
Rick. Everybody knows Mark. So we can
That's
go.
nice. Only
can go over
about
there
in
and make
America,
some noise.
only one person a year recognizes me. I'll be at the gym and they'll go, "Are you Rick?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm not very famous here.
But you
So
are very
maybe
famous
you'll
in
be more famous
Bangladesh.
in Australia. I
He,
just have a quick
he's a
question.
famous, very famous man. Johid Rahan is a producer, movie director. His son, he's a very famous politician. He come and I say, hey, we have our friends from Hollywood. Why
Well,
don't you introduce him? So
all
you
right.
can
Well,
join
I
our
have
work.
lots of ideas. I should go over there and we should like see about making some stuff.
Making some
Yeah,
movies. Sounds like a great idea. Some
let's
movies.
grow. We have Bollywood, right? You have
Yeah,
Hollywood,
Hollywood.
we have Bollywood. Let's
Yeah.
work together.
Bollywood's the biggest the movie industry in the world.
So do not waste your. That is
Yeah,
called
because
talent economy,
isn't
right?
Hollywood number 3? Because I thought Bollywood and Nollywood both beat Hollywood now.
I mean, now, in terms of revenue, probably Hollywood's still because to go to a movie in America, it's like $20. To go to a movie in India, I don't know, it's 35 cents if you convert it to American. So,
Yeah.
but more people see Bollywood movies and Dollywood movies than America. I think. Yeah, you guys are huge.
Yeah, I would think so and everything. I got a question because it's based on, and I wish Nick was here. How much, and this is for both of you, should we be worrying about the morality of other countries and everything like that? Because I don't know if you've been watching the Facebook debate. It's been a debate that Joseph Jacoby and definitely Nick has instituted, but he's basically saying and kind of belittling Somalia because Somalia operates under Sharia law and everything like that, and they don't exactly have strong views around the LGBT community and everything like that in terms of being accepting of those populations, whereas other places may be more accepting. So he was almost making it seem as if that was part of the reason that we didn't need to have immigrants from those countries coming here. But as one person said, maybe if they're escaping those kind of problems, and that's why we should have more Somalians coming in and everything like that. But I just wondering, how much should we be trying to dictate other people's morality?
The U.S. can be very hypocritical, where we pay a lot of attention to certain countries in the world, and then we are very ignorant about other countries.
Right.
And and we tolerate bad behavior from some countries, and then we deplore it from others. And let's see how many Muslim countries there are. So there are 53 Muslim majority countries, which is it's about 25% of all the countries in the world. And I'm sure like every other kind of country, out of the 53, there are some that have responsible government, and there are some that are either failed states or they're run by dickheads.
And there's some that probably follow Sharia law to
right. And I'm sure that there are different systems of Sharia law, some where most people are able to live decent lives, and some where the like Afghanistan is run by dickheads.
Right.
The Taliban, they're dicks. They're terrible to women. They have a terrible economy. They don't know what they're doing. They're a bunch of basically hillbillies. They're yahoos with AK-47s. But there are other nations. So I don't know about Pakistan. Pakistan seems to be a modern country. Does bad shit happen there? Yeah, I guess so. But like the Pakistan, I don't know, are they well, they're certainly more competent than Afghanistan. And there are plenty, I'm sure there are. Here we can see, what is the best Muslim nation? Where's so Malaysia seems to be a nice place to live. The UAE is crazy nice because they've got like, they're rich as hell. Qatar, Turkey's like seems like an amazing country. They do have a dictator, so you don't want to get afoul of him. But Turkey is such a mix of, it's the crossroads of all these civilizations. Seems like a great place to visit. They've got a ton going on.
Yeah, but we pick on the Muslims and everything like that. And I think if I remember correctly, Dr. Sharif is Muslim and everything. He can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like Christians have had a diverse view on, because I even looked up on Wikipedia, toward violence and nonviolence over time. I mean, we know that the Crusades, which were considered the Holy Wars, were a Christian war and everything like that. And even in the Roman Empire, the early church adopted a nonviolent stance when it came to war, because of the imitation of Jesus' sacrificial life was preferable. But the concept of a just war has been out there for a while.
The Crusades were kind of a big scam. They were kind of like MAGA. They got people all riled up and we're going to go, they didn't accomplish much and they cost a lot of people their money and their lives. Once you got the Crusaders out of their home countries, those people were easy pickings for all sorts of piracy and bad times, freaking bad times for all concerned.
Oh yeah.
I share one small thing. It's called Kokoro. It's a wisdom app. What we develop, what we are doing research, we are publishing books and all of the things. And honestly speaking, as I travel a lot, I meet with a lot of cultural people. Last 15 years, I try to learn from every community, from North America, from Middle East, from Africa, from South Asia, from Europe, everywhere. So what I understand actually, we need to be global citizen. We need to play more for our wisdom, all right? Because here, everyone, you are actually smart people. Everyone, Nick is a smart man. Rick is the smartest people in this planet. Mark, you are a smart man. But smart people always know what to do. Wise people know what they do not have to do. That is the things we have to develop right now. And wisdom comes from different religions. There is no difference in between Jewish and Muslim and Christian or Hinduism. Everything actually, what we focus on human developments. What we discuss on all of the big things, economics, billion-dollar economy, trillion-dollar economy, all of the things. I'm not big fan of trillionaires. I want to make more millionaires, right? Because trillionaires means all of the resources go to one person and more poor people. That is very bad. That is unhealthy. I'm not just criticizing, hey, America, California, you have a lot of poor people, you have homeless people. No, every country has problem. But it's an indicator that money go for central, one people. Trillionaire means more poor people we have, more homeless people we have. But I want to build through our talent economy more millionaires. We have to go for decentralized management. We have to go for decentralized of our asset. American people do not go for paychecks and live their life for paychecks and everything. Everybody needs some decent income and decent values and everything. So the world actually do all of the wrong things with their economic policy, with their politics, with their cultures, with their technologies and everything. So now there is a big time because all of the young people, last 7 years, I am just saying that all of the talented people, with the help of technology, they are come to the front line in politics, in business, in entrepreneurial initiative. Their mindset is completely different. It's not 1990s mindset. What is the US problem? Because USA is still, I believe, a very big culture, very big economy. Especially Rick, you work for Hollywood. Hollywood has a big impact of the Asian life. But only things, USA cannot be
Hold on
great.
a second. Nick, you got to fix your voice.
You got that Mickey Mouse voice thing going again.
USA cannot be a champion without the help of other community, other the developing nations. So that is the issues I go for this wisdom app. We need to create. We have to build our wisdom, right?
Yeah.
So what machine has, machine, whatever you do, Rick, you do, me do, and Mark do, machine can do anything, right? Compared to better, if they can write better research paper compared to me, compared to Rick and everyone. But what machine cannot do, they do not have heart. They do not have wisdom. So we need to play with our wisdom. We need to learn from different culture. We need to engage with these things. So that's why I go for this wisdom app. Nick, Rick, Mark, everybody is part of our talent economy, our wisdom economy, and everything. People love these things so much. You know that in Bangladesh we have 300,000 mosques. You know, mosque means everybody has Islamophobia in Western world.
Right.
They said this, that, many negative things. I am the man. I say, hey, Nick is a white people, Rick is a white people, Dave Walker is a white people. So all of the white people, that there is no difference. They love Bangladeshi culture. They love Muslim culture. And they go for our show. They use our wisdom app. They just read our books. They go for the training program. So the world is very beautiful. Just we have to change our mindset.
Yeah, and technology is the way to build bridges. And, and especially we need to build bridges among people. We also need to build bridges to technology, because if we don't don't merge with technology, technology will run wild and it will kick our asses.
And
Yeah, also you have to go
300.
visit these. You have to go
Nick,
visit these countries.
Nick,
I mean, sooner or later I'll get to Dhaka, but I'm going to Turkey next month. You know,
Yeah, Nick.
I was in Morocco. I guess that's a Muslim country. They were celebrating Ramadan. They had really good food after the celebration. There was no problem with Morocco. It was a perfectly nice country. And I'm going to Turkey next month. And, you know, Turkey looks to be pretty good. My wife's been there, and they got a lot of really good stuff to see in Istanbul. They have the Santa Sophia. They have the Blue Mosque. They have river cruises. They have cruises along the Black Sea. I mean, so there's a lot, and the food is great. I mean, you know, the thing is,
good food. Like I said, I didn't
Nick,
get
there is a good
there
news
as
for
a
you.
baby and everything like that. But just really quickly, I did have, coming back to AI, I had a question, and this is for everybody, because I went with a friend of mine. It's actually a friend of the network, because he used to have a show on the network. Now he has it on his own network and everything like that. But I went with him to a restaurant, and when I went to the restaurant, this is the first time that I recall a restaurant here in North Carolina having a robot greet me. So the robot is the one, and it even said on the sign that was taking my order. I mean, when I got up to the window, because he was buying some me lunch and everything. When I got to the window, it was an actual person that handed us the food. But before that, it was the robot, and that was my first encounter that I can remember with a robot greeter at a major restaurant. It was Checkers and everything like that. So is this going to become more common and everything like that? Because like I said, I know that I've sometimes eat out too much. I sometimes get DoorDash too much and everything like that. But that was my first time ever that I can recall running across the robot greeter.
Yeah, we have a revolving sushi joint in LA. It's part of a chain, the Kuru, where you get the there's a robot waiter brings your water and stuff, brings your drinks.
Well, it's just like in the early 1900s, they developed this thing called an automobile. Right. And when my grandmother was born, there was no automobile. They were in horse and buggy. And she lived 100 years old, 101 actually. So she went from the horse and buggy all the way to people flying in one generation. So if you think about it, Mark, and it won't even take that long, the next decade, you don't have to worry about overtime tips, because there won't be any waiters or waitresses. Basically, that job is eliminated. So you're going to have robots basically taking over those jobs and maybe even the cashier's jobs. So those probably have
we have to tip the robot because they usually
You'll
put
have to tip the robot.
No,
The
but
robot wouldn't do
when
that.
so at our revolving sushi place, you still got to tip, because if you look in the kitchen, they've got like a dozen sushi chefs just cranking out. Frickin', those guys need to get tipped.
You got to pay the sushi chip. I'll tell you, in Spain, there is no tipping. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, because the wait people, the servers get paid a reasonable wage.
No, they don't.
U.S.
They really don't. None of the wages here are high.
So what do they do? How do they?
They have a hard life. Okay, I mean, well, a hard life in a way, but they don't work that hard in a way. So they have siestas.
All right, so they go to the beach. So like they get shitty money, but
what they do is they have a good. They live good. Like I said, they work to live. They don't live to work. It's just a little different culture here. So it's almost like I
want to get back to what Dr. Sharif was saying. I was looking at the list of the world's biggest cities, and out of the 12 biggest cities in the world, only one isn't in either South Asia or East Asia. The story of the world has the center of the world. It has shifted or is shifting from white people land to Asia,
right.
And we ignore it in the U.S. at our peril. Like Elon Musk, tweets all the time now. He's a lunatic. He tweets stuff about how we have to save the white race and stuff. And white people are 10% of the world. And
maybe 8%. They're not. I
looked it up. It's about 10. But I mean,
10 really, right? 10 now. Well, if you think about it, that's the reason I want to get Dr. Sharif and more people involved in Asia, because 50% of the world's population is within, 2 countries of where he lives. Where in the U.S. it's not even close. I mean, so if you want to have a lot of people watching these shows, we've got to get into the Asian market, because that's where everybody is.
Yeah, Bangladesh is a huge country. It's got half the number of people as the U.S., and most people in America aren't even aware of Bangladesh. And then India, of course, has 4 times the population. China, 4 times the population of the U.S. And so, you got to figure out a way to break into those markets.
Yep, definitely had to break into those markets.
Since this is December, I want to talk about something I've been discovering. So, I'm Jewish, so Jewish people don't believe Jesus was a holy man, but I've been rebuilding. Can you see this mosaic of Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
I like buying mosaics that are all crap, that are all busted up, and then because you get a good price on them, and then I put them back together. I find it relaxing, and so I've been working on Jesus for a long time, and I've been learning about Jesus more than I knew, because when Jewish kids go to Sunday school, they don't teach us very much about Jesus. And one thing that surprised me is the Jesus up on the cross. I thought that was a guy who was still alive. He's not.
Thought he was still alive?
No, he's not. If he's already got a cut in his side from the Roman soldiers stabbing him, he's dead, which is weird that you guys, all the Christians in the world, I know he comes back to life after 3 days, but I was surprised to find out that I've been working on a mosaic of a dead guy. That by the time he gets stabbed, I thought the soldiers, the centurion, stabbed him to be mean to Jesus or else to help him die faster. But it turns out, no, the centurion stabs him to make sure that he's dead, which I don't know, that freaked me out a little bit, that the Jesus up on the cross is already dead. That's weird to think that all these people are walking around with little statues of a dead guy around their neck. I mean, it's sad as hell, but anyway.
How do Jews feel about the return? Because he's supposed to be returning too at some point or another.
I want somebody to come back and clean house. As a Jewish person, I'm not very well. The Jews believe a Messiah will show up. But most Jews don't believe that. The same way that there are a ton of Christians who don't really think a Messiah is coming. It would be nice for a Messiah to come and, yell at some of the jackasses and tell them to shut up. I talk to my Mosaic Jesus a lot, and I'm like, dude, come on, it's time. But yeah, I'd be happy with, I don't want a Messiah who's a dickhead, but Jesus seems like a good guy.
I'd say he was a good guy and everything like that, and all on those lines. And Nick, you still there?
I don't know. We should get back. Let's take a look at. You want to take another look at Drudge? See what's going on.
Take another
Okay,
look
so
at
now there's a bidding war for Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the articles, the opinion pieces on this takeover with Netflix buying Warner Brothers say it's a bad thing. It's more consolidation. The fewer entertainment companies you have, the less they have to, the meaner they can be. They don't have to pay. They don't have to make new content. They can say, you're just going to watch our old content and like it. If you've got nowhere to go. I mean, look how bad TV was in the 70s compared to now when we had 3 networks, ABC, NBC, CBS. Now we have. Now you're up.
There we go. I had to go in on the other one because it was acting crazy.
Okay, all right. So TV was bad in the 70s, in the 60s, but when there were only 3 networks. And so the Netflix takeover of Warner Brothers is bad for entertainment because that's more consolidation. But
Yeah,
now we have
definitely
a bidding war. Somebody is going to buy Warner Brothers. And not going to be great. Though
Is somebody going to buy it? We don't know who's going to buy it.
Yeah. Let's see. So Paramount has, I don't know how much, let's see, Warner Brothers wants to pay $30 a share for Warner Brothers. Let's take a look at where Warner Brothers is at. Right now they're at $27.50. So Paramount is offering like a 9% premium that if you sell your shares to them, you'll automatically instantly make 9%.
Wow. That's a decent amount and everything. Well, I know we got to get over to Economics Monday, but we'll find out more about these situations. I think that there are a couple of other things, including Confluence or one of those streaming services being bought. So it does seem like the entertainment game is being dealt with a lot of buyouts and new players and everything like that. So we'll see how this goes.
And it's bad for the people who work in entertainment. There's less stuff to work on. The residuals have gone to hell, where people used to live off of residuals. You make a show, and then when they rerun the show, you make a few $100 every time. That's enough to get by until your next job comes along. Now with streaming, instead of getting a check for $300, you get a check for 2 cents. Actually 2 pennies. It's crazy. There are stories of people who get checks in the mail for negative amounts of money. Somehow the computer decided if you're going to cash this check, you owe us money. It's bad for people, for writers, actors, directors, cinematographers, choreographers. Anyway, all right. I'll see you over at the other show.
All right. We're going to get on out of here. We'll see you at Economics Monday.
Bye.
Hi.